Let's discuss the 10 weakest villains from Disney. While they have their merits, they're not the strongest. So, let's dive into the video. At number 10, Darla. Darla is the least threatening villain in Finding Nemo. She's the dentist's niece, and Nemo is supposed to be her gift. But here's the catch. Darla has a bad track record with fish because she's too excited and doesn't know how to care for them properly. She's not mean or cruel. She's just an energetic 8-year-old who loves fish too much. Her worst offense is tapping on the fish tank to make them move, which comes from her genuine fondness for them and not understanding how to handle them correctly. In the grand scheme of villains, Darla is more like a kid who needs to learn how to take care of her pets better than a true bad guy. Coming in at number 9 is Stinky Pete from Toy Story 2. Now, a lot of Disney villains aren't exactly menacing, and Stinky Pete falls into that category. I mean, he's a toy. No matter how evil he wants to be, he's never going to pose a real threat to anyone. A clumsy kid could accidentally break him without even trying. Even in the world of toys, Stinky Pete isn't exactly top-tier villain material. Sure, he's got a mean streak. He's all grumpy and cynical about everything. Plus, he's pretty smart and isn't afraid to play dirty. He's trapped Woody a few times and even threatened to rip his arm off once. But let's be real, any decent toy could take him down without breaking a sweat. Coming in at number 8, we have Sid from Toy Story. Sid might seem like a bit of a troublemaker, especially to toys. He's a young kid who gets a kick out of taking things apart and putting them back together in weird ways. He's not exactly concerned with making them look nice or work properly, which can be pretty distressing for the poor toys he messes with. But here's the thing about Sid. He's not really evil. He has no idea that his toys are alive, so he's not intentionally trying to hurt them. The worst thing he does to a person is swipe one of his sister's toys. And by the time Toy Story 3 rolls around, he's just a regular guy working as a garbage collector, showing that he's grown up to be a normal, responsible adult. Coming in at number 7, we have Lady Tremaine from Cinderella. Cinderella is a classic Disney fairy tale, but let's be real, its villain isn't exactly the most intimidating. Unlike other fairy tale baddies who have magical powers or crazy transformations, Lady Tremaine, Cinderella's stepmom, doesn't have any of that. She's just plain mean. Sure, Lady Tremaine is wicked through and through. She spends the whole movie tormenting poor Cinderella and trying to ruin her chances of marrying the prince. But here's the kicker. She does it all using regular everyday methods. She never poses a real threat to anyone. Her biggest move is just locking Cinderella up in her room. Coming in at number 6, we've got Skinner from Ratatouille. Even though Anton Ego might be the big boss villain at the end of Ratatouille, Chef Skinner is the one causing trouble for most of the movie. He's constantly giving Linguini and Colette a hard time and putting obstacles in their path. And when he finds out about Remy, he's dead set on getting rid of that rat, trying all sorts of tricks to stop him. But here's the thing about Skinner. He's not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer, if you know what I mean. He's just a regular guy who's mainly worried about making a buck. His biggest threat is tarnishing Gusteau's reputation, but when he tries to take out Remy, he totally botches it. Remy ends up outsmarting him and foiling his plan to steal Linguini's inheritance without breaking a sweat. Coming in at number 5, we have Cruella Devil from 101 Dalmatians. Cruella Devil is pretty much a household name when it comes to movie villains. With her wild appearance, evil plan, and that catchy song of hers, she's definitely left her mark. But when it comes down to it, she's not exactly powerful. She's just a rich lady with a knack for fashion, and even that's not saying much. Cruella's biggest weapon is her money. She's loaded, and she's not afraid to use shady tactics to get what she wants. But beyond kidnapping those adorable Dalmatian puppies and hiring some crooks to help her out, she's not exactly a mastermind. Sure, she's got style, but when it comes to real power, she's pretty limited. Coming in at number 4, we have Mother Gothel from Tangled. Mother Gothel is a seriously creepy character in Tangled, and not just because of her looks. She's like a textbook example of an abusive parent, using her smarts and manipulation to control Rapunzel for a whopping 18 years. She's constantly messing with Rapunzel's head, chipping away at her self-esteem and independence. Gothel isn't just about psychological mind games, though. She's got some tricks up her sleeve when it comes to manipulating others, like when she convinces the Stabbington brothers to go after Flynn Rider and then double-crosses them without batting an eyelash. But when it comes to actual magical powers, she's pretty limited. Sure, she can control Rapunzel's hair and she's got a long lifespan, but that's about it. So while she's definitely a step above some Disney villains in terms of brains, she's still not as outright threatening as others out there. Taking the third spot, we've got Sher Khan from the Jungle Book. Sher Khan isn't your average Disney villain. I mean, the guy's a tiger, for crying out loud. In the jungle, that's like having a one-way ticket to being feared by everyone, animals and humans alike. He's basically the king of the jungle, and the only things he's afraid of are hunters and fire. Sure, Sher Khan definitely shows off his strength and danger. He's responsible for taking out Mowgli's parents, which is pretty intense. But when it comes to finishing the job and taking out Mowgli himself, he's not exactly batting 1,000. I mean, the dude gets taken down by a kid with a flaming stick. So while he's definitely a force to be reckoned with, the Jungle Book doesn't hesitate to show that he's got his weaknesses too. Securing the second spot, we have Hans from Frozen. Hans might seem like the perfect Prince Charming at first, but halfway through the movie, he flips the script and reveals himself as the main baddie. He's got this whole twisted plan to seize control of Arendelle, leave poor Anna to freeze to death, and take out Elsa. Talk about betrayal. Give the guy some credit though, he's not just all talk. He's handy with a sword and nearly pulls off his evil scheme. But here's the thing about Hans. He's not exactly a powerhouse on his own. He's just the youngest of 13 brothers with no real political clout. Plus, in a straight-up brawl, he's no match for Elsa and her icy powers. His only real weapon is his deception, and once that's exposed, his threat level drops faster than you can say let it go. Taking the number 1 spot, we have Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oogie Boogie isn't your run-of-the-mill weak villain. He's actually pretty formidable. He's big, he's strong, and he's got a brain to match. Plus, he's not afraid to get creative with his death traps, making him a real nightmare to deal with. There's even a hint that he's done some seriously dark stuff, sending shivers down the spines of the folks in Halloween Town. But here's where it gets interesting. When it comes down to the wire in The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie Boogie falls flat. He can barely lay a finger on Jack Skellington when things get serious. And to make matters worse, he's got a glaring weakness, that sack of his. As soon as it's torn away, he's toast. I mean, anyone with a basic understanding of his weak spot could take him down without breaking a sweat. So while he might seem scary at first, Oogie Boogie's got a pretty big Achilles heel.